This is just a quick spoiler discussion on the Psycho-Pass movie, which, although is really good looking, it's not very well executed. I couldn't give it lower than 3 stars out of 5. I mean, unrealistic sci-fi and realistic war doesn't exactly go hand in hand, but here I just want to talk about a few elements of the movie that really confused me. First of all, Akane did nothing in the whole movie. By that I mean she talks a lot, she sits around a lot, and doesn't do anything to help anyone. She just wants to find Kogami for some or no reason. This is Akane we're talking about, one of the most badass cops in anime today, who can take down just about any criminal without darkening her own Psycho-Pass. One of the biggest reasons Akane is such an interesting character is that, let's be honest, she is criminally asymptomatic, like Makishima in Psycho-Pass 1. The whole movie presented an opportunity to exploit that special power she has. But no, the most she does is in the introduction, where she leads her team, and also she has a short and pointless fight scene with Kogami, and that's about it. I would have liked the movie to continue developing her relationships with the other team members, and that can include Kogami, but her team isn't even in most of the movie. And what's worse is that Kogami shoots and fights and actually helps people, which pushes down Akane as a character even more, down even more. What's really odd is that early on in the movie, it's established that Akane can fight. She kicks this robot's ass in her apartment very early on in the movie, so surely she should have been the one to be a part of the final fight scene with, or even instead of, Kogami. That would have been, you know, more entertaining. So let's talk about the plot. Akane sees a magazine and somehow that means Kogami is still alive, so she travels to another country which has a civil system beta being tested out in a quarantined area in order for her to find Kogami. Now, that whole plot point could have given way to some very interesting ideas. For one, they could have exploited the newness of the beta system by having another criminal wanting to take it down from the inside, as he or she opposes it. Surely if the system was in a beta stage, then there would be more weaknesses within it which could have been exploited, which includes trapping the residents inside the walls and killing them to add that horror elements from Psycho-Pass 2. Better yet, if the anti-civil system terrorist was also criminally asymptomatic, it would make sense for not only the terrorist being present within the quarantined area in the first place, as criminals are not really allowed in, but also for that present government to send for Akane, as she is definitely criminally asymptomatic herself as a police officer, and she's experienced enough to fight the terrorist. Then she sends for her team to join her in the investigation, and Kogami, since he's fighting the war on the outside, is recruited in to add some entertaining brute force. That would have worked better as a plot, as even though we've already seen an exploration of the civil system and an anti-system terrorist in the TV series, this plot allows for a better exploration of the isolation elements of the system. The residents of the general civil system are prisoners to an extent. Instead, we got 2 hours of Akane and Kogami getting chased down by a group of mercenaries within a war zone. I'm not even kidding, that is basically what happened. And that brings me on to my final point. What were the themes of this movie? Psycho-Pass 1 had the theme of justice, Psycho-Pass 2 had the theme of exploitation, but what about this movie? Did it combine those two themes? Did it introduce new themes? Not really. You could argue that there were themes of war and the importance of government, but the war element was just exploited for action, and the government was corrupt and innocent people inside and outside the quarantined area die. There really was no point to this movie outside the great visuals. Even if it was a sci-fi horror like Psycho-Pass 2, that was just there to be disturbing, then I would have been at least entertained by that disturbing element. I just want to make a little observation: the characters that speak the English that doesn't always match the subtitles are Kogami and Kane, so why didn't Production IG just phone up their distributor Funimation to get the English voice actors of Kane and Kogami to do the English scenes? All in all, I don't hate Psycho-Pass the movie. It's not as annoying as Psycho-Pass 1, and the movie is a technical achievement, but there's not much point in watching the movie. If only it continued down the horror road that worked so well in Psycho-Pass 2.